guys want to know what I'm playing? I'm playing the Soca Matters Volume 3, brought to you by Planet Soca, DJ Odyssey, Black Rose, and of course hosted by Colombian The Voice. Gotta big up the Planet Soca family for the Soca Matters mixtape Volume 3. It's sick! Get it on SoundCloud at Planet Soca. Today is the season finale of our first season. And we got a big artiste, producer, record label owner. We're going to be interviewing today from Grenada, so big up the Grenada crew. I also got to big up Rhythm Stream for the Soca Matters mixtape, sponsor of that, sponsor of Planet Soca, sponsor of The Zone. Today is a big interview like every other week. We've got not only an artiste, but a producer, a record label owner, band member for several bands. Grenada is in the building today. So Roots is gonna be here. Mista Roots. If you don't know, you're gonna find out today. There you go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you good.
Okay. So your camera is sideways. You know this, right?
So let me know, because I'm upright. You got me now?
There we go. I love it. For those of the people that are just joining us on the Instagram Live, this handsome man on my screen represents Grenada. Is a man that is in front of the music, behind the music, beside the music, all over the music. He's a producer, he's an artiste, he's a performer. This man has worked with Marshall, Kess, Patrice, Ricardo Drew, which we're going to talk about. So I have to do my sound effect for our season finale. So I want everybody to big up and put up the Grenadian flag and represent your country and big up the man himself. Shawn, Mista Roots Mitchell. Sir, if they didn't warn you about me, you're going to find out today.
Okay, I'm ready.
How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for joining us on our season finale, the first season we've done of The Zone. Thank you so much on behalf of course, Planet Soca, Rhythm Stream, Maverick Customs, Sham and the family, and DJ Simply Smooth. So thank you for being here.
No problem. My pleasure.
So we're just going to start this interview because I know you know. I have tons of questions for you, and I've done my research. Like I knew about you, but I had to dig your resume. Your resume is long, and I think my point for this interview was to really represent who you are and really honor the work you've done and the work you continue to do. And just see if you have any advice for the people that are coming up, in the scene and stuff, right? Where are you right now?
I'm in Brooklyn, New York right now.
Oh, I miss New York. I was there last year. I want to visit.
Yeah,
I miss you guys. Can't cross the border, everything all to Arda.
I know, right? It's crazy, but hey,
so let's start with your early history. I'm going to jump right into it. We know music is in your blood. It's in your ancestry. I know you started, I think, very early at the age of 10, and you got into, singing, dancing, performing. What is it that attracted you to all of that at such an early age?
I was just born into it, because a lot of my family are musicians, and I was always around music my whole life. So I didn't have to seek it out. They just seeked me and just was like, ever since, that was just it. I didn't want to do anything else but music.
Right, of course. And I know you're the nephew to King Ajamu, who is your uncle. So we got to big him up because that's a legend in the Grenadian Calypsonian era. Of course, he's a legend to this day. So we got to big him up, of course. Because you're so into the music and you were at such a young age, were there any musical influences you looked up to? And why did you pick those people, or was it just family?
There was a lot. I mean, at that time I'm a little old, but in the 80s.
That's okay. I'm not far behind you.
Back in the 80s, I was heavy into the Trinidad soca with Gypsy, and one of my favorite singers was always Johnny King, and listening to their music, Baran, all these men and I was always paying attention to the musical aspect of it, along with listening to what they were singing. The music was always something that, that gripped me. So at a very young age, I was really into that. Just, I don't know. I can't explain.
I don't blame you. Hey man, especially, it's funny, I was looking at something the other day And
Mm.
somebody said it right. Like if you're just ever feeling a ways, there's something about that old time soca from then. It just puts you in a
Yeah,
vibes,
yeah.
you know?
To this day, I listen to that, and it still influences my music to this day. Like, if you listen to my productions, you will always hear a little bit of the back then mixed with the modern and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
it's
you
there.
always
It's deep.
sprinkle it in some of your new stuff, so I like that.
Yeah, you have to. That's the culture.
So you started as a bass player in '96. I'm gonna age you a little bit for a cruise ship. I know about that. And you have all these natural abilities. I know you taught yourself how to play keyboard. We said you play bass, you play sax, you play drums. How did you transition from being in front of the music and then wanting
Mhm.
to go behind it?
Well, for those who know me, know I'm a little shy, so I was never really too comfortable being in front, singing and performing and stuff like that. Although I loved it, but
Yeah.
I just loved being a part of the production of it and being a part of playing that music, man, and that was it. I was a little too shy to be the whole artist thing and all of that. Uh, that wasn't for me. I'm sorry. It
And then you just said, you
really
know
was.
what, I'm gonna go behind the scenes and I'm gonna murder
Yep,
it.
I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna produce. I'm gonna play music. That's it.
And that was
So.
it. So let's
Mhm,
talk about that. I know you're one of, as we talk about early career, you're one of the founding members for a New York-based band. That band is called Request Band, and you were also
mhm.
their musical director. Talk to me about some of the history of that band.
That band I actually met up with those guys when I came back from the cruise ship, and they were just like a singing group. They just were like 4 or 5 guys just singing, just using rhythms. And but within that, it had guys who could play instruments and stuff like that. So like, why don't we
Mhm.
just put a little band together? And before
You
I
guys
went to
knew
the
each
States,
other?
I used to DJ. Yeah, some of them was the owner of the band was actually my cousin, and the
Ah,
guitar player, the singer. So I knew most of them, So it was easy to just say, yo, let's just put some equipment together. I mean, we were used to DJ and have basement parties, the 90s. That was,
that was the
and so
thing.
yeah,
Beat
so
the
we did
furnace.
you mean? You did a lot of that and funded the equipment for the band, which we started in '99. So we did about 3 albums, that it was really good, man. Like, for my first time, and they really put me in charge. And like, it was stressful for me though, but I didn't even know how to lead people like that. I'm used to just going on and playing, but then I had to like tell guys what to do and put shows together, put songs together and stuff like that. So it really taught me a lot about, being a musician and being a leader as a musician. So I'm thankful for
Of
that.
course. And that's where you started building those skills. And I assume even when you were doing that, and even though you were
Hmm.
in front, you still had that burning to be behind to say, yo, I'm figuring your brain is just like working about what can we do behind the scenes, right? Of course.
Yeah, definitely. I tried my best to be a part of everything because, you know, I had a lot of vision as to where things could be. And it was really great sharing it with those guys because they respected me so much and they would sit and listen and just take it in. Not like, yo, you think you know everything. Well, it wasn't that. It was just like, yo, Roots, what do you think we should do with this and what? So, it was working with those guys was really a pleasure. So we didn't really have no push and pull with nothing like
No,
that.
no,
So
like no band bickering, none of that,
nah,
especially when
nah,
that mutual
nah,
respect is there. Yeah.
nah. Yeah, we were friends. I mean, I'll cuss them up in rehearsal. I mean, if you're doing nonsense, I'll cuss you up. But after that, we're good. It was
But
nothing personal, and that's how it's supposed to be, really. You know.
exactly. That's how that's how respect builds in the industry, right? Like, because if you can't be honest with the people that you're working
Yeah,
with, then
yeah,
it's gonna reflect in the music anyways. So then you're not really being
exactly.
true to yourself, true to your
Hmm.
music, and then true to your
Yeah,
fans, right? Totally makes
exactly,
sense.
exactly, exactly.
So
So.
let's talk about you're a certified recording engineer. I want
Hmm.
to know how that unfolded and then that how that kind of led to the creation of Wiz Records.
Well, I was always producing music and stuff like that. And as a producer, you have things in your head that sometimes you cannot relate it to someone else and have them catch where you're coming from, as far as
Yeah.
your sound and stuff like that. And I just started doing a lot of production with the whole Grenada stuff. I was like, if I want to really do this, I have to make sure and learn all the ins and outs, things that I need to know. And I actually did that course. They sent it to me. It was like books, a bunch of books and stuff I had to study. And I was doing that during Carnival in Trinidad.
Oh,
So
wow.
like, so like after shows, I go home, get some sleep, and then I get up, hit the books, study, 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 study. And then I took the test when I came back up to New York and got certified. And that was it. I had my certificate and everything, you know.
And then you just after that, like after you started
Mhm.
doing that and you got the certification, did you immediately start the record label or was that just like a slow?
Nah, because at the time I was working with home-based music, which is based in Grenada, with a friend of mine, Wayne Green. So we were actually partners, doing that, trying to develop the artists in Grenada. And that's where I really started doing work with a lot of the young artists. And, they were winning titles and doing all of that. But, at some point, I just wanted to do something that represented me, you
Hmm.
know, personally, and my vision of
Right.
music and where I wanted my music to go. Because I never wanted to follow anyone or,
Right.
be a part of no. I don't want to be a part of the flock. I just want to do me, do my music that I want to do. And at some point, I was like, you know what? I need to just start doing my own thing, as opposed to I'm
Hmm.
working with others, but still I wanted to have my thing, which I could pass on to my kids. And, it was just
Hmm.
that. And everything to me in my musical journey felt natural. It was just, I didn't have to plan to do anything. It was just, yo, it's time to do this. Then I'll jump and do it. So
Yeah.
that's just how it's been. I don't know if I'm fortunate or what, but that's just how it's always been with me throughout my musical career.
I think maybe I always believe in vibration. So I think maybe
Hmm.
you've been vibing high because I can already, like, I know what I've heard from people about you that you're so humble, you're pretty chill, you're easy to talk to. And I could see that in this interview as well. So I think maybe you've been vibing high and because of that you've been attracting. Because I know I did read like one of the main things about you was always about pushing the Grenadian artists, the young people, giving them their shine.
Hmm.
Has mentoring always been a thing for you? Like, do you always want to mentor young ones?
Nah, I never wanted to be a mentor. I just wanted to share what I knew with people. Like with
Right,
artists coming up, I'm like, listen, 'cause if I'm working with Masha Montano, this is the top soca artist in the world. So
right.
I would have a lot to share with you as far as what I learned there from him. I could pass it on to you. I didn't want anything from anyone. I didn't want you to praise me or give me any credit or stuff like that. Just do what is right and best for you to help you, prolong your career,
Of course.
So
Yeah.
I never really looked at myself as a mentor, just sharing whatever knowledge I had about music with whoever is interested and whoever wants it. That was just always been me.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? The Instagram keeps freezing. So can we do
Mm,
one thing before we continue? Can we try to
sure.
like X out and then I'll invite you again just to see because I'm getting what you're saying, but sometimes it's freezing and then catching up.
Oh,
So let's just try. We're just gonna try to exit out and then I'll invite you back again. I just want to make sure it's the good video so everybody's hearing what you're saying?
all right, cool.
Okay, let's try that.
Uh,
All right, everybody. I just want to make sure, the video is good because I think what he's saying is super important. So I want to make sure we're hearing that. So let me just make sure this thing will work properly. Let me try again. All right, let's see now. I think it's
all
good now.
right. Okay, okay.
I think so. It's probably just internet. This is the way it is. It's COVID internet. What can I
Yeah.
tell you? I want to talk about some of the people you work with because I don't want to forget
Mm,
that. You were
yeah.
with Marshall when he was
Hmm.
in the band Ecstatic. How long do you work for that band? How long you work with him?
Um, about 11 years, pretty much. I think it was 1 month shy of 11 years.
Wow, that was
Yeah.
amazing. You must have picked up so much skill, so much like connection.
Yeah.
You have any memorable performance that like maybe stuck out to you in that duration and time you were with him?
For me, it was the first time I performed in Grenada with Marshall. and it was at a digital launch event, and we were just doing our thing, and then he introduced me, and he was like, "Yo, do you know this guy? Or guess where he's from, and whatever." And people, because a lot of people didn't know me because I left home very young. I mean, they know my
Yeah.
name, but they never
Hmm.
seen me. And then when he said that, yo, this guy is from Grenada, blah, 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 the place just lit up. I
Of
was
course,
like,
because there's not,
yeah,
it's not often you get Grenadian artists matched up with big other
yeah,
soca artists together. So that love, I can only imagine, like, Grenada is such a small island as it is, right? So I can imagine
yeah.
everybody would have went nuts.
I swear, people was asking me for my passport and everything after I got off stage because they couldn't believe it. I was like, I had to explain exactly where I'm from, what house, by who. I'm like, yes, I am from Grenada. It was so weird, but really, I really felt happy about that. So that was one of my best moments, actually, being with the band, aside from traveling the world and seeing all these different places. But,
Yeah,
you know, being
that's
home,
got to
home
be an
is home.
amazing feeling.
It is. It's the perks of the life. We got it's stressful at times, but it's worth it. Definitely
Yeah.
worth it.
I can see it
Yeah.
when you talk. I can see the light in your face when you talk about it, just the whole thing in general. So I get it. Speaking
Yeah.
of other artists you've worked with, right now you're the bass man for Collie Buds, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, the professional name is you're the bassist for Collie Buds. I can
That's
be
what
that
it is.
person.
Yeah, the
How
basis.
did you, how did that connection happen? Because Collie Buds was big international recording artist, reggae man himself. How did that
Yeah,
connection?
it's just I don't know how these things been. I don't even know how to explain how I got into martial band. But when I left, well, HD at the time here in New York, I started doing some local reggae stuff with guys around town and things like that. And a lot of these guys, like, they knew me from being with Marshall. And it was weird, 'cause, like,
Right.
yo, all these guys are big in the reggae, but you know me and give me so much respect, just off of that. And I'm like, yeah. So I started working around, and then one of the guys who was the drummer, Damn Drums, he linked me, like, yo, you want to do the Carly Buds gig? I was like, sure. Because at that time I resigned from the HD band already. I was just home
Mhm.
working on my music and stuff like that. I was like, cool. And then I didn't have to audition. I didn't have to do anything because I guess the gigs that I was doing at that time was already my audition. So they knew that I
Right.
could handle it. And then it just went in, man, because Carly was looking for a new band at the
What
time.
what year was that you joined
That
Collie
was
Buds?
2014.
Oh wow, so you've been with him solid 6 years already. You see how time just fly?
Exactly, right?
Wow,
And,
it's crazy. So
yeah.
let's talk about another artist. I mean, you've worked with so many, but let's talk about Ricardo Drew because I'm going to be interviewing him in season 2, and he's got
Uh-huh.
his big hits that have come out, Homesick, Jumbie Walk, and all the other stuff that he's been happening. So those songs I know you have involvement in. And
Hmm.
I always say to people, it's one thing that we love the music as fans, but we also forget all the people behind the scenes that were involved in it. So I want you to just talk about your involvement on those particular tracks for Ricardo Drew that are like spinning all over the world right now.
You wouldn't believe that those two songs are actually about 3 and 4 years old. They're not really new songs.
I know this, but I wanted you to tell the people that I'm
But
aware of this.
me and Drew had a working relationship from way back when I was working with Patrice at the time.
Right,
And she put me onto him, and we started rapping, and he was like, yo, give me a chance. Blah, blah, blah. I sent him beats and stuff like that, and we recorded, and we just developed that relationship. And through him, I met Sham, and me and Sham
right.
were like real cool. There's a lot of respect
Big up Sham,
between,
Rhythm Stream, gotta
yeah,
big up the
all the time,
sponsor.
all the time, all the time. So it was like, and Sham showed me so much love and respect just off of me, you know, linking with Drew and putting stuff
Mhm.
out there. And for somehow me and Drew, we just clicked musically.
Right.
He always compliments the stuff that I send him, which I really love. Once you could get that with an artist, that is priceless, as opposed to
Yeah.
someone just jumping on and giving you a vibe and blah, blah. No, he actually sits and puts things together with his team, and then we work and coordinate, and we always seem to get the best results out of it. So,
Yeah. Big
yeah.
songs. How do you deal with, speaking of like not that I'm calling out any artists, but how do you deal with that? Like when you've got artists that, don't really give you that kind of energy, but just say, yo, I'm just gonna lay a thing. Like, how do you as a producer deal with that?
Um, I don't get mad at stuff like that. I usually tell them just don't force it. If you're not really into it, just leave it alone. We'll probably try something else.
Right,
I'm not one of those to push artists or try to get mad and nah, because music is a living thing to me. And
right.
not every producer could link with every artist and get product. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes the chemistry is just not there.
Right.
And I've gotten a lot of songs from artists where I just like, all right, nah, this is not working. I'm gonna just leave it.
Yeah,
And
just leave it alone and let it kind
yeah,
of be.
just leave it. Sometimes you just forget it. No hard feelings, no nothing about it. It just if it's not working,
That's the industry, right? It is what it is.
yeah,
Sometimes
it
it
is
is
what
what
it
it
is.
is, and you just got to
Yeah,
keep it moving.
exactly. So I don't really get bothered by things like that. But
Right.
most of the time, I get very, very, very good product from artists. I'm hardly ever disappointed in any artist that I work with.
Say that part again. It got the
You
thing
lost
froze
again?
most of the time.
Yeah, I say I'm hardly ever disappointed with artists. Like,
Right.
once I send them, because if I give an artist a track, it's because I could hear that particular and doing something. Because sometimes I might release a track and then an artist might say, "Yo, who's this bad? Send me that." Nah, that I'm not hearing you on that.
Yeah.
You
And we're
know,
gonna
it,
touch on that. That I want to talk about too, about your keen sense of your ear for that type of stuff. But we're gonna get to that. I do have a question about, your record label owner. Let's talk
mhm.
about Wiz Records. Wiz Records is a beast of a record label. Like I was looking at everything, and you go to
uh,
the website, and I've heard. Don't get me wrong, I'm aware of Wiz Records, but as an interviewer now, you go into the depths of it, and the start of it, and I'm looking at all the genres you do. People might think because you're heavy into soca, that's the only thing you do. It's not. You do reggae, you do R&B, I mean hip hop, zouk, Afro. I've seen all of that. And then all the artists that you've worked with. One of the cool things that I read, there was an interview or something you did, and you said that the mission statement for Wiz Records, and I'm going to quote you now, it was to create pure, authentic music that can be appreciated worldwide and last through the ages. So I want to know where you find the never-ending inspiration for Wiz Records. Like, how do you just keep that machine going?
well, when I kind of separated from home base a little bit, and I was running with Mr. Roots Productions, which
Right.
I was just basically I produced stuff, but then I wanted to do a label, and it took me a while trying to find a name for it. Bounced around for months trying to find a name, and then I was like, okay, Wiz is like wizard, which is basically dealing with magic. But my magic to me is music. Because if
Right.
someone comes to my studio and once they start singing, immediately I start hearing,
Hmm.
you know. So being a producer to me is like basically pulling things out of the air and putting it down, pulling
Yeah.
notes, pulling melodies. So to me, that is my magic, which is why I went with Wiz Records. And me
What
being
year
that,
did you start Wiz Records?
woo, you hit me up with that one there. I believe it started the same 2014 when I resigned from the HD band.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was kind of my rebranding, trying getting into something for me then. I was always working with people, with partners, with this. I just wanted to have my own label, my own
Right.
setup, and which is, Wiz Records. So, and the mission holds true. I just want to create lasting music, like how the music from back then influences me now. I want my music to influence people decades down the road. You know, I
Right.
want, I want my kids to be able to listen to that and be like, whoa, that's my dad. Those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm working towards for real.
That's good. See, and that I like because as a fan, that's the kind of thing you want because I want to be able to put on that music 15 years from now and say, yo, Wiz knew the thing and he still does. You know what I mean? Mr.
For
Roots
real,
know it. He knows what they know
for
what's
real,
up.
for real. That's
So as
it.
a
No.
producer, I mean, this
Uh-huh.
might be hard to explain, but how do you know when you found a hit?
Um, you never do. And for me,
Nah,
I don't want to know because I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want to
right.
sit and hype myself and be like, yo, that's a hit. That's gotta be. No. I mean, like when we did Vagabond, that blew my mind when that became a hit. It's not that I didn't like the song. I love the song, but I wasn't expecting all of that. You know, you just do music and you hope that things work out. And for me, I do music and just put it aside. I'm like, all right, okay, that's done. Bam, bam, bam. And my same cousin, she cussed me up about that most of the time because she called me like, yo, you know, this is my all-time favorite. And I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, I don't listen to these things. I do it, I produce it, it's mixed, it's mastered, it's out. I'm done. I'm done with it, you know. I don't pay attention to it. And then when we did Vagabond and then he released it, and then Trinidad started pumping it, everybody started hitting me. I'm like, wait a minute, this
And
is,
then it just went like
yeah,
crazy international because when it hit
yeah.
Canada, like when it hit Toronto, it was
uh,
fire. Fire.
I'm telling you, I was like, okay, what's going on here? But I'm still like, I don't get too excited because that's just not my personality, you know. I'm like,
Right.
wait a minute, this is really, you know, till now, I'm still getting used to having that kind of a, because that's what I want, to have music that people can sing and relate to and dance to. So seeing it and hearing it, like somebody passing a vehicle and I'm hearing my music pumping, that feels so amazing, you know?
I can only imagine. You're just
Yeah,
hearing it and you're like, yep, I did that.
exactly, right?
That's an amazing feeling. Tell us about, um, because obviously owning a record label, you're always looking out for artists. So tell
Mhm.
us about how, if an artist were to come to you, how you get the ball rolling and what is it you're looking for from them? Because I'm sure, people come to you all the time in the DMs and the email and say, yo, I got this, I got that.
Yeah, well, my first thing is like, send me something. Let me hear what, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Just let me hear something that you've done. And I could always hear behind the voice most of the time when I deal with an artist. I mean, you would come and sit in front of me and start singing, and I'm hearing something that you don't even know I'm hearing. And behind your voice, the tone in your voice, I could hear certain things from artists. So I
Hmm.
know how to approach working with that person.
Right.
So most time if I tell an artist, yo, I have a beat for you, I want to send it for you. It's never like, nah, not feeling that. Nah. It's always like, damn, Roots, boy, I don't have an idea for it. I don't have about 2 or 3 songs on that already. I'm like, I don't know. It's the magic for me. It's hard to
Yeah.
explain, but it's just the magic for me. So I try to share that with artists and talk to them. I'm like, yo, find your voice. Don't
Right.
try to follow anybody. I mean, it's good to look up to Kes, Marshall, everybody, but focus on the formula for things rather than trying to just do what they do. Try to
Right.
figure out
Because everybody
how
has
they
to
do it.
find their own,
Yeah,
they have to find
yeah,
their own recipe for how they do
exactly.
things.
Figure out how they got that result, but don't
Right.
try to copy the result. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's important if you want to be an artist or producer, musician, anything.
Yeah. What's next? Because, obviously Wiz Records is at this status now in the scene. What do you foresee for the future of Wiz Records? Like, where do you want to take it next?
Uh, just keep doing what I'm doing and, expand at some point, become a internationally known label where I could have a bunch of different artists. But one of my main focus is trying to get new, fresh, upcoming artists to work with and try to groom them and work with them and because there's a cycle that we need to break. It's a lot of hype, like we mentioned earlier, and it never lasts. That hype never
Right.
lasts. It's just like, okay, you might get a big song now, but that's about it. Which is what I love with working with Drew. And I used to tell him that I say, yo, you're building a catalog. which is great. So even when you get that one big song, you have so much great songs that you did before that one breakout song
Yeah.
that all those songs are going to become like new songs,
Right.
which is what's
Absolutely.
happening. Yeah. So
Which is what's happening now.
yeah, you got stuff from back then is coming in and getting recognized because you're opening doors for yourself, you know.
Right. And expanding the music. Somebody told me one time in the radio scene, because I have a radio show here in Toronto, and my producer had said, and the radio manager, don't sip your own Kool-Aid. Not true though?
Definitely.
It's a
It's
true
very
thing.
true.
Don't
It's
sip your
very
own
true.
Kool-Aid. The minute you sip your Kool-Aid, you're dead.
That's it. That's it. And that kills a lot of artists and producers' career, man. You can't think that you're too you're the best. You're the you know. And I encounter so many of them, and it just annoys me.
Yeah.
So I try to stay away from that kind of energy. And if you're doing it, do it.
And you have to.
Yeah, let
Yeah,
somebody
you have
tell
to
you.
ignore
Let
that
somebody.
energy.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody tell you it's good, then you're like, great. But don't tell me it's good. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me your song is the best, your track is the best. No, let me decide whether I
Yeah,
like it or not. You understand?
exactly. You don't say, oh, this is the best or this is the bomb food. Say, here, I have a recommendation.
Nah,
Here's something I have for you. Take a listen. Give me your feedback.
exactly. That's what
I get the
that.
same thing as a radio personality. People always want to drop song. Oh, let me get your song on the radio. Put the song on the radio. And I'm like, just send it to me and let me hear it. Right?
Exactly,
Don't tell me nothing
exactly.
else. Don't tell me how I'm supposed to like your song. Let me like it how I'm
Yeah,
supposed to like it, if
yeah,
I
like
like
they
it.
set me up. They set you up, and then you listen to it, and you're like, oh man, really? After
Right?
all that hype, I've been there. It's tough.
Do you have any do you have any, I guess, specific advice for any producers that might be trying to come up in the scene?
Uh, pay attention to the music.
Mm-hmm.
The music speaks to us, you know, it does. It and as a producer, if you're working on a project or you're working on a song or whatever, that song speaks to you and tells you what it needs. You know,
Right.
it's like it really tell. I don't know how to really explain it fully, but it me when I'm building music, it's telling me what I'm supposed to put in there because I'm hearing these things because I surrender to it. I'm not trying to
Yes.
push the envelope and try to reinvent something that's already been invented. Music has been invented. Soca music has been invented. We have
Yes.
to pay attention to the guys, our ancestors who did it and put it there for us. And you just
Right.
grow. You grow from that. Plant,
Yeah, you have to.
yeah, plant your roots and just grow from that. Don't try to create something that's already been created because
Yeah.
you're flop. And what are you gonna call it? You can't what news? That's why you have soca this, soca that, this soca that, soca for what? Soca music is soca music.
Yeah. It don't
You know?
matter. Just listen.
Yeah,
Listen to
just
what's going on. And
listen to
especially
what's
in a
going on.
pandemic, people got to pivot,
Yeah,
right? You
exactly.
really got to pivot.
And that's what's going on now. You find a lot of artists now have to sit and pay attention to content as opposed to what are you singing a song about jumping up in a fet and doing all of that now for? There is none of that. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
You're not getting
it's
any
different
juve,
right
you're
now.
not getting so you have to feed your soul and you have to feed your fans. You know, if I'm feeling down with I'm stuck inside, I can't go outside, I don't want to hear no jam and wine thing and so I want a nice soothing melody with a
Right.
nice topic that I could gravitate to and enjoy, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have to do the thing because that's part of our culture. But we
Yes.
can't have everybody leaning in that same direction. And nobody is doing any music for the soul, which is why I grew up loving reggae music because it feeds your inner soul. When you hear it,
Yes.
it resonates. And we need to get that back into soca like we had it with the Mighty Sparrow and Kitchen and Baron and all these men.
Lord Kitchener.
You know, when you hear a soca tune coming from back then, you just had to hold your head. That is the feeling that I think we're lacking now in a lot of our music, and we have to go back to that. So anybody who's
Yeah.
up and coming, listen to the older stuff. There is no shame in that. It's
Hmm.
not making you less cool if you're listening to some Sparrow. Nah, I mean you have taste, because me as traveling the world, when I meet people and we talk about soca music and stuff, it's Sparrow and
Yeah.
Barali and the Dragonets. Those are the people they know out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When it comes to soca music, they don't really know the Marshall. They don't. I mean, they don't.
No,
It's
they
the
don't. You
truth.
got to listen to the foundation to really get
It's
to the
the
roots of things.
absolute truth. I'm telling you. And even when I was working on the cruise ship, and we used to be doing like songs from David Rudder and stuff like, and the people would be sitting there and singing the songs word for word. That
Yeah.
whole calypso vibe, they love it. You know. So
Yeah.
just focus, just go to the roots, man. Just go to the roots and learn the stuff and listen to the stuff, and it'll tell you what you need to do. It'll show you where you need to go. It's very
Yeah.
simple, you know.
The
So
roots and the
that's
foundation of soca music is really the Bible. Whatever you decide to do, whether you're artist,
mhm,
producer,
mhm.
performer, musician, whatever, it will give you the roots of where it will talk to you and tell you where you need to go. Then, like you said, it'll speak to your soul and just lead you on a path.
Yeah, definitely. That's where, I follow that, and I'm not gonna stop following it just to fit
Don't
into any.
stop because whatever recipe you've been doing, that shit's been working for you 200%. I do have another question for you. Sorry, I'm getting a bit of delay, so I don't need to talk over you. I hope I'm not talking over you.
No, it's cool.
Um, I do have another question. You still are, I believe, part of another band, and that's
Hmm.
called Therapy Band. What is
Hmm.
Therapy Band up to these days, especially with COVID and stuff? And what's your
Well,
role in that these days?
we're just chilling right now, but for those who don't know, Therapy Band is run by one of the soca artists from back then who we know as Designer, who did like Ratty Ray and stuff like that. So he's actually the front man of that band. And we do so much diverse music. It's just amazing. Like when I come off the road, I do the reggae. I come in the studio, I do the soca, I do all of that. And then I go to work with him, and it's like pop and funk and all these different elements
Jazz.
that, yes, that feeds me. So when I come in the studio, I'm like, okay, this is what it is. This is, I could feel and hear different things that I could do within my own music. So I'm kind of missing that because through the whole pandemic, we're not really out there doing anything right now. But
Yeah.
you know, we keep in touch because I'm actually recording with the singer now. Actually, we are working on a couple of songs.
Have you guys ever
Actually,
thought about maybe streaming like a mini concert?
uh, I should run that by him though. I
Run
wouldn't
it
mind.
by him because I'd
I wouldn't
totally be
mind.
down and kind of just, knock out some of the genres that you guys do. Doesn't have to be anything long,
Yeah,
but you
yeah,
do like a mini concert or something. I think that'd be cool. You could get all you guys together in a socially distanced way.
yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's a really good idea too.
Tell him I recommended that,
I
okay?
will. I will. I will.
I gotta ask for you because even though with COVID, obviously you're busy, you're working,
Mhm.
does it or do you ever slow down and do you plan on slowing down ever?
No, no, no. I can't. I mean, for now,
Right,
I'm like I'm missing 50% of my being right now because my life is touring and studio. And right
right,
now, I only have studio, no touring. And
right.
it's really like, oh my God, I'm not used to being home for such a long time. It's like, oh my
I
God.
know.
It's really stressful, but you know, this is the new reality for now. So
For
we
now,
have to kind of
just
do,
for
yeah.
now. I don't think it'll last, forever, but it is for
Well,
now. I mean, it's definitely
yeah,
different for sure. Like, look at how we have to
definitely.
do interviews, It can no longer like fly there, fly here, because it,
Right?
it, it helped with this internet.
Yeah.
So do
Yeah,
you
I
have
just
any you got any projects coming up that you can tease to fans or anything you're working on with anybody you can kind of give us a
well,
little?
yeah, one, I'm actually working on my feature album right now. This is gonna be
Whee!
my first album with just stuff that I do with the artists that I want to work with, you know,
That's so
just
cool. So you're just
representing
working
my
on it
brand.
right now. When do
Working
you
on it.
plan on releasing?
Mm, soon,
Not sure
soon,
yet.
very soon,
Soon.
very soon. I'm
Soon.
almost there, you know. Plus, I have some other things with other artists dealing with, but I can't really talk about that as yet, you know,
Yeah, yeah. Are
until
you gonna be
June.
teasing? Are you gonna be teasing like the release a little bit on your social
Uh,
media and stuff?
definitely, yeah, for sure. Got to do that. Gotta let
So
people,
soon
gotta.
is what? Maybe early next year?
Yeah, if I could get it before the year is up, I would definitely do that. I would love to do that. Because I actually was hoping to do it for my birthday, which is November 29th. So if I could
Oh,
get
happy
that,
early birthday there,
no, no,
Sagittarius, I think.
yeah, Saj, you need to hit me up on my birthday. I don't take early birthday greetings,
I
okay?
will.
All right, thank you. Just
You
so you
best
know.
believe I will.
Yeah, yeah, so if I could get that, ready by then, I would definitely love to do that. It would mean a lot to me if I could get it done. But you
Have you
know,
thought of an album name?
yes, I don't know if I should tell you because I might get in trouble.
No, then don't. Then don't. You know what? This is enough to tease the people that are your fans to say, look, an album is coming and he
Yeah,
has a name and he could preview it and we just have to wait.
yeah, but the name definitely has a meaning, a very, very, very deep meaning for myself on my musical journey. So
Right.
I would be happy when I could really share it with you guys in full and you could appreciate
I'm
my vibe.
excited. I mean, obviously your artist name, your producer name, your record label name, everything has had like supreme, very, very deep meaning for you. So I can only imagine what you got
Yeah.
planned for your album. So me excited. Somebody said I was playing smart. Yeah, absolutely damn right to playing smart. I trying. I'm trying. I want you to tell your fans how they can, reach you on social media if people want to contact you and maybe submit stuff to you. How do they get in contact with you?
Well, yeah, you could definitely hit me up right here on IG, Mr. Roots _Wiz Records. That's MistaRoots Records. On Facebook, Shawn Mr. Roots Mitchell. Or you
Yes.
could just drop me an email at wiz.wizrecords@gmail.com. So, I'm easy to find. Very, very,
Yes,
very easy to find.
you definitely are. Your resume was all over the place, but I don't
I'm
know if
sorry.
everybody's ever asked you all the like in-depth questions. Because yes, we're all fans, but I always like to know some of the behind the scenes.
It's great. I love that. And I really appreciate somebody taking the time out to pay attention to detail and bringing it out there. I appreciate you very much for that. And thank you.
Oh, no problem. Like, and like I said earlier, it's like, yes, as a fan, we love the music, but I think
Hmm.
fans also have to remember there's a lot of work that goes on
Yeah.
behind the scenes to make, because the artists are the upfront. They're the
Yeah.
upfront people. They're the ones that show it, that sing it, that perform it, but they forget all and without the artists, we wouldn't know too, because people who love music don't always know where to go to look, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so for people who like me, who are interviewers, for the artists who let us know who they're working with, we have to big up people like yourself that run the labels, that do the marketing, like Sham does with Rhythm Stream. You do the
Yeah.
producing of the music. Thank you for making just great music for, your fans and people like us to just listen to, especially, during a pandemic. Like Homesick was really a good track by Ricardo Drew, and just feeling that because we were all
Mhm.
homesick, like people can't
Exactly.
travel.
Yeah.
Nobody can go
Yeah.
anywhere. You're feeling tabanca because there's no damn carnival. And, there's only so much, bumping you can bump on,
Yeah.
internet.
Exactly.
So I
Exactly.
totally get it. So thank you. Thank you for being here. You were our season finale guest on The Zone. It's been awesome. I
It's
cannot
great.
wait to hear what you do with your new album. Make sure you all hit him up. You can check him out on Instagram. It's at Mista Roots, like he said, MistaRoots Wiz Records. I have it down there as the pin on this live. Shawn, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to
Thank you so
follow up
much,
with
Sister.
you.
Definitely.
I can't
Definitely.
wait to
We'll do
follow
that.
up with you when you do the stuff and you put out. Thank you so much for being here. And
Thank you for
representing
having
Grenada, big up the Grenada Massive
me.
all day, and Brooklyn, because I love New York. I'm going to be back in New York soon.
All right.
And
So
when
when
I
you ever
come,
get,
I have
let
one
me know.
request.
Uh-huh.
I would like to get a tour of like the studio and just check it out. That'd be so cool.
No problem. Whenever you get in
Okay,
there.
that's cool.
All right.
Thank you so much for being here. You have a blessed day.
You too, Mom. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, love.
All right.
So that's it, everybody. Season 1 is a wrap of The Zone. It's been great. We're going to be launching season 2 in mid-November, so make sure you stay tuned to Instagram for that. Make sure you check us out at Planet Soca 1, at MC Nads. I'm so happy everybody that was in here. I'm going to, tag me in the stuff that you were, I think Spice Socialite, you were saying you want to tag me in some stuff that he's done. Big up Mista Roots for being here. Season finale, season 1 of The Zone, season 2 soon to come. And don't forget to check out the Soca Matters mixtape volume 3 that is out on SoundCloud. All you got to do is look up Planet Soca. We have to big up DJ Odyssey and Black Rose, and of course Colombian The Voice, and obviously King Bubba for dropping his voice on there too. I'm gonna see you all on season 2. And, we're always looking for sponsors as well. So if anybody wants to sponsor us or you'd like me to mention your brand, hit up at Planet Soca 1 and we will arrange that. Thanks, Spice Socialite. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm going to see you on season 2 in November.